Mis panchicos, ustedes pa un minute one. Primeramente, saludos y respetos going out to everyone. Check this one out, man. So, today I wanted to talk a little bit about solitary confinement. You know I've talked about it when I first, uploaded this channel, or when I first established the channel, but now I'm gonna get a little more into details, of what it was like for me to be in solitary confinement, segregation, whatever you want to call it, So they have this place in the county jail called a dungeon, or seg. The cops call it seg, the inmates call it dungeon, right? So you could either be two types of classification to be there. So you could be a two-dip, which would be a inmate that doesn't leave the cell unless he's in chains. Like any outside movement, court, medical, or anytime you leave the cell, visits, you're gonna be in chains. And there's also just regular seg inmates, I think they're classified as A, B. I don't know what it stands for. Ad seg violent. I'm not sure what the letters stand for, but those inmates right there, they could just, if if they go to outside movement, they don't have to be chained up. So I've also heard that there was I've also seen that there was this inmate. He had already been fighting death row. He was fighting a death penalty case, capital murder, whatnot, and he used to have like two deputies everywhere he went. I don't know if it was a sergeant or a classification, but there was always two of them. And I think somebody mentioned that you could even have three. That's like the maximum security, 3 dep. So I was a 2 dep, and I never seen anyone with 3 deps, So anyways, right? So the way my county jail is classified in its breakdown into segments, they have a red band. Red band is usually for inmates that are there for violent cases. Anything violent, you go to red band. And then they have gray band or black band. Anything 211s and all that, robberies and all that, you go to gray band. And then they got white band, which is like the miscellaneous petty crimes, like under the influence, or you got caught with drugs, you were selling drugs, Those are general population. They could also be the workers, white band. And then they have blue band. So blue band is the same as white band, but blue band means that they're already sentenced. So usually the blue banders, they get to leave the jail, for work purposes or whatnot. Then they have orange band. Orange band is protected custody. Then they have like a purple band, but I ain't never seen no purple banders, and so I don't even know if it's real or not, you know what I mean? And then they have a green band. Green band is you're segregated from everyone, and you are allowed to get a Sally if it's packed. They usually don't give green banders cellmates, but due to the fact that when I was fighting my case, there was a lot of criminal indictments. They ended up filling up the tank, so we all got a Sally. But that's when it's not packed, it's rare that a green bandit will have a Sally, So back in those days, to be green band, you gotta be a high profile case, assault on a deputy. You gotta be assault on deputy, high profile case. You're boarding up too much, like cell extracting and all that. And so there's certain little jailhouse infractions that will classify you as green band, you know. So anyways, so I go in, right? I go in, and they originally booked me for a firearm. So I got booked for a firearm, and I'm already in the county jail. I already been green band for 2 years. I got green band in 2010, right? But I've never been to the dungeon. I didn't even know what the dungeon was, right? So I remember they took me to from booking, they took me to the dungeon, and it was packed, you know. It was 16 cells, divided by a wall, each section. So it'll be A section will have 2 cells. There's wall. B section will have 2 cells. C section will have 4 cells. D section will have 2 cells. E section will have 2 cells, and F section will have 4 cells. So you could be in A section and end up right next to a J-Cat, you know, and you'll be there for a long time. I mean, I was fighting live, so I was there for a couple of years, you know what I mean? So, anyways, somehow, some way, you know, I became a target. I became a target of the administration. Like, they wanted to break me, you know, so they started withholding my mail. They started, like, classification, which is the gang unit. They're the ones, you know, going through your mail, receiving, you know, outgoing or incoming, whatever it is, you know, like, they're going to check it out. So if it's outgoing, you're the one writing it. They just take a picture and they want it out on the streets ASAP so you could get a response, you know what I mean? They could try to, like, manipulate the words to where you're doing another crime or gang association or stuff like that, you know? And so the little mail that I get, it would last, like, sometimes, like, 2 months. I mean, I remember they'll decline a letter, they'll reject it, and they'll put it in my box, and they wouldn't tell me, they wouldn't notify the person that wrote the letters, nothing, you know. So they were doing that. They were they told one of my friends, right, that they knew that me and one of my homeboys didn't get along. But they still managed to sell us up together, you know? So I ended up taking out for the homie. And that's how I lost my Sally privilege for about 6 months, you know? I was single cell for like about 6 months until they gave me another cellmate. But I'll get to that later, you know? So they were doing all kinds of crooked stuff like that, you know? And I was just like pretty much writing it out, you know? So they had me on discipline for 13 months. So right when I got there, you know, I was there for like 2 months and I'm already on discipline for 13 months. So for 13 months, I can't get a visit. I can't go to the store, get no commissary, nothing, you know what I mean? I was always in the hole, so they would take everything. Like at first I was like, you know, I'm gonna go to the hole. So I was like, okay, whatever, that's fine with me, you know? But then they just came at night, midnight. They came at midnight. They took like all my property and they just left like, if you want a Bible, you can have a Bible, and any religious literature. They leave you with your cosmetics, and pretty much that's it, you know. Legal mail and writing material. That's all you could have, you know. So anyways, you know, as time went on, I noticed that they were picking on me. And I didn't know what it was about. And me, I'm pretty big on the 14th Amendment, right? Which is the right to equality, you know? Equal protection clause. So, I just wanted to be treated the same as everyone else, bro, you know? And for some reason, they were picking on me. They were mad at me. Withholding my mail. They would just give me write-ups for any little reason, you know? And I was just like, damn, you know, like, I'm never going to get out of isolation, you know, surviving it. So I was just like, whatever, you know. In my mind, I was already like, you know, I'm not gonna break. You know, I'm facing life already. Like, even if I get life, you know, like, I knew what I got myself into. So I just kept on writing it out, you know. And then one day I get a letter, cause when I first went in, you know, I had a lady. I thought I was in love, you know, and then so she left. So now I didn't have nobody for a long time, you know. So I already been down like a year and a half. A year, a little bit more than a year, you know. So I get a postcard. I get a postcard, and it was like a stranger person, you know, like a female, saying, hey, you know, I read your name on the newspaper, and then I want to get to know you, you know. So I didn't think nothing of it. I was just like, man, you know what? Like, at that point, I was already like institutionalized, and I was already too paranoid due to the fact that they were putting all kinds of informants next to me. You know, I can name at least three informants that they put next to me. When the informants were going home, all of a sudden they do a big old movement, and they put them next to me, and then they go home, you know. So I pretty much, anyone that asked me any type of question about any type of crime, I consider them an informant, and that was that, you know. It was crucial, you know. So I usually didn't want to talk about nothing that had to do with any type of criminal activity or nothing like that. You know, I told the homies, hey, look, I got a postcard, fool. Like, I think it's a who that's messing with me, or, you know. So some of the homies were like, nah, I know who the hyena is. One of the homies from Moore Park, he was like, I know who the hyena is. She's female, fool. She's cool people. So I was like, whatever, you know. So I didn't even write her back due to the fact that I was like already, the who that's made me paranoid. So I was already too paranoid to function, you know. I mean, I was able to function, but at the same time, I was just like on my guard, you know, like on my toes, like straight up, you know. So a few months later, you know, she shoots me another little card, and this time I write her back, and by that time I was already getting off on discipline, so she starts visiting, and now they start messing with her, you know, leaving her out there a long time, and pretty much like going through all our phone calls and everything, bro. Like, but you know, so everything that I had going, they were messing it up for me. But she stayed strong, you know. So she ended up becoming a good friend, you know. So moral of the story is solitary confinement. If you're not strong-minded, it's going to affect you. It's going to affect you regardless. You know, a lot of people say, oh, I did solitary confinement. It didn't affect me. Well, maybe you didn't notice that it affected you, but it affects everyone, bro. Because I remember I was there for 2 years and some change in that dungeon, you know. So I remember there was days where I would just be like, I don't care about nothing, you know. So basically what you got to do when you're in there, you got to have like a program, or you got to just stay doing something the whole day. You can't just sit there and think, because the moment you do that, that's when your mind starts playing games. You're drinking some coffee, you know, you start seeing things. And that's where you got to stay reading, cleaning, playing chess with your neighbor, talking to your neighbors, like, you know. It got to the point where I didn't want to talk no more. And I've always been like a very friendly person, you know, and I didn't want to talk to no one, you know. Like, I was just like, you know, all these fools, I don't know who they are exactly, you know, they might be an informant and whatnot. I was just too paranoid. That's what I'm saying, you know, too paranoid. And they'll put neighbors and I wouldn't really talk to them, or I'll get into them on purpose just to see what they would say, you know. And so, you know, I became a good reader. I started reading a lot of books, you know, and due to the fact that they took my my reading privileges, I only had like religious books, you know, so I read the Quran, I read all kinds of religions, you know, Christianity, the Old Testament, the New Testament, a bunch of religious books from different branches, just to, you know, come up with my own opinion, make my own decision of what really is what, or what I think is best, you know. But when I used to get the newspaper, I was into exoplanets, you know, and then anything that had to do with fossils or exoplanets, I was all into, you know. So I should get into it out here, you know. But that was my time. That was my time right there in Ventura County Jail. I can't go too deep into it, you know, because some things we can't even say, you know. But as far as like the treatment, the food, they're always like everybody trips on the cake, you know. I'm fat, I'm hungry, you know. I always trip on the cake myself. So I would be like, I want a big cake, you know. So I'm always at the door waiting, and usually there's the cards have like two trays, boom, 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 or three, bam, 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 and you can see which ones have the big cake, you know. And I remember the cops coming in and always like taking the big cake and acting like they're gonna give it to me and just giving it to my neighbors, and then I get a small ass little cake, like no frosting, no nothing, bro. And I remember when I was on discipline, I had on discipline they let you out for a 10-minute shower every other day, right? So they give you this meatloaf once in the morning, once for dinner. That's it, twice a day. It's called disciplinary diet, you know. So I remember I was hungry, you know, so I ate half of it and I saved the other half. And when I went to showers, they searched my cell and took it, you know. And it was just a bunch of little things like that, you know, like little kid rules, you know. And I was just like, oh my God, like these fools are really, really trying to break people in here, you know. And it all boils down to the people that run the place, you know. At that time, they were just like, they had something personal against the inmates, you know. I've often asked, what do you think about this inmate if he has this type of crimes or whatnot, you know, just to see where they were at. And a lot of the cops would always be like, well, you know, to me an inmate is an inmate, and I don't care what type of crimes they are, they're here for. If they're guilty, you know, I treat them like an inmate, whatnot, you know. So I mean, there's certain things that, you know, I wish that everyone would agree on as far as the crimes and all that, you know. But it is what it is, you know. And I might have to do a second part to this one. I'm gonna have to write things down, because just by freestyling it, it's not gonna work, you know. I got all over the place. But you guys have a good one. I'll be back soon.